What if the reason you feel older than your age has nothing to do with time, and everything to do with a few silent daily habits that are quietly draining your body's ability to repair itself? This content is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not medical advice and should not replace consultation with a qualified healthcare professional. Individual health conditions vary, and any changes to diet, lifestyle, breathing practices, movement, or sleep routines should be discussed with a licensed practitioner, especially if you have existing medical concerns. Water is the primary medium of life inside the body, forming the environment in which every chemical reaction, nutrient exchange, and waste removal process takes place. When hydration is adequate, blood maintains the right viscosity to travel smoothly through the smallest capillaries, delivering oxygen and essential nutrients to tissues that depend on constant renewal. This uninterrupted circulation allows cells to receive what they need and release what they no longer require, sustaining a dynamic balance that supports vitality and resilience. As hydration declines, this delicate system begins to slow. The blood thickens slightly, circulation becomes less efficient, and the delivery of nutrients to peripheral tissues such as the skin, joints, and brain becomes compromised. Cells begin to operate in a more stagnant environment where metabolic byproducts accumulate faster than they can be cleared. Over time, this internal congestion contributes to dull skin tone, reduced joint comfort, mental fatigue, and the subtle decline in energy often mistaken for natural aging. Hydration also governs the function of the lymphatic system, a network responsible for collecting cellular waste, toxins, and excess fluids from tissues. Unlike the cardiovascular system, the lymphatic system does not have a central pump. It relies heavily on adequate fluid levels and body movement to maintain flow. When water intake is insufficient, lymphatic drainage slows, allowing waste products to linger in tissues longer than they should. This creates an internal environment where inflammation can quietly increase and tissue repair becomes less efficient. Within each cell, water maintains the structure of proteins, enzymes, and membranes that carry out essential life processes. Enzymatic reactions responsible for energy production, detoxification, and repair depend on a well-hydrated cellular environment. When cells lose optimal hydration, these reactions occur less efficiently, reducing the body's ability to regenerate and defend itself against stressors. The cumulative effect is a gradual reduction in the body's natural capacity to maintain youthful function. The skin, often seen as the visible marker of age, is especially sensitive to hydration status. Well-hydrated tissues maintain elasticity, smoothness, and an even tone because nutrients can easily reach the deeper layers and waste can be effectively removed. When hydration is poor, the skin reflects this internal state through dryness, fine lines, and a lack of vibrancy that no external product can fully correct. Adequate hydration also supports kidney function, allowing these organs to filter the blood efficiently and remove metabolic waste through urine. When water intake is limited, the kidneys conserve fluid, reducing the efficiency of waste removal and increasing the burden on other detoxification pathways. This added strain subtly influences overall energy levels and the body's ability to maintain internal cleanliness. By restoring consistent and sufficient hydration, the body regains its natural flow, allowing circulation, lymphatic movement, cellular reactions, and detoxification processes to operate with greater ease and efficiency, creating conditions where tissues can renew themselves more effectively. And the visible and invisible signs of aging begin to soften as internal balance is gradually reestablished. Inflammation is a protective mechanism designed to defend the body against injury and infection. Yet, when it becomes constant and low in intensity, it shifts from a helpful response to a quiet driver of tissue damage. This subtle, persistent state often arises not from dramatic illness, but from daily dietary patterns that the body struggles to process. Refined sugars, highly processed oils, chemical additives, and nutrient-poor foods repeatedly stimulate the immune system, encouraging it to remain slightly activated long after the immediate trigger has passed. When the immune system stays in this low alert state, Inflammatory chemicals circulate through the bloodstream and interact with tissues that were never meant to be exposed to them for extended periods. These compounds interfere with normal cellular communication, alter how tissues repair themselves, and accelerate the breakdown of structural proteins such as collagen and elastin. Over time, the visible effects appear as sagging skin, stiffness in joints, reduced energy, and a general loss of vitality that many people accept as unavoidable aging. One of the primary contributors to this process is excess sugar intake. Frequent spikes in blood glucose lead to the formation of advanced glycation end products, compounds that bind to proteins and make them rigid and dysfunctional. This glycation process directly affects the flexibility of blood vessels, the suppleness of the skin, and the resilience of connective tissue. The result is not only aesthetic aging, but also a reduction in the efficiency of circulation and tissue repair. Damaged fats from processed foods further compound the problem. These unstable fats integrate into cell membranes, making them less flexible and more prone to oxidative stress. Cells with compromised membranes cannot regulate the movement of nutrients and waste effectively, creating an internal environment where inflammation persists and regeneration slows. The body must work harder to maintain balance, diverting energy away from repair and toward managing ongoing irritation. The digestive system plays a central role in this inflammatory cycle. Poor dietary choices disturb the balance of beneficial gut bacteria and weaken the intestinal lining. This allows partially digested food particles and toxins to enter the bloodstream, provoking immune reactions that extend far beyond the digestive tract. Skin conditions, joint discomfort, and mental fog often trace back to this hidden source of inflammation originating in the gut. When the diet shifts toward whole, natural foods rich in antioxidants, fiber, vitamins, and minerals, the body begins to calm. Antioxidants neutralize oxidative stress. Fiber supports healthy gut bacteria, and essential nutrients restore cellular integrity. As inflammatory signals decrease, tissues regain the ability to repair efficiently, circulation improves, and the body transitions from a defensive state to a regenerative one. This quiet reduction of inflammation does not produce dramatic overnight changes, but gradually, the signs of accelerated aging diminish as the internal environment becomes less hostile and more supportive of renewal, allowing the body to function with a level of ease and resilience that reflects a more youthful biological state. Breathing is the most constant activity of life, yet it is often performed with so little awareness that its quality deteriorates without notice. Many people adopt a shallow, rapid breathing pattern driven by stress, poor posture, and mental tension. This limited breathing reduces the amount of oxygen reaching the bloodstream and disrupts the balance of gases required for efficient cellular energy production. Over time, this subtle oxygen deficit influences how effectively tissues repair, how clearly the mind functions, and how resilient the body remains under daily demands. Oxygen is essential for the process by which cells convert nutrients into usable energy within the mitochondria. When breathing is shallow, this energy production becomes less efficient, forcing cells to operate in a state that favors fatigue and waste accumulation. Metabolic byproducts that would normally be cleared begin to linger in tissues, contributing to a feeling of heaviness and reduced vitality that is often misinterpreted as natural aging rather than a correctable breathing pattern. Deep, rhythmic breathing restores a more optimal exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the lungs. As fresh oxygen enters the bloodstream in adequate amounts, circulation delivers it to tissues that rely on constant renewal. At the same time, carbon dioxide, a waste gas produced by metabolism, is effectively removed. This balance supports a stable internal chemistry that favors efficient enzyme activity, tissue repair, and overall physiological harmony. Breathing also directly influences the nervous system. Shallow breathing is closely associated with the activation of the stress response, keeping the body in a state of heightened alertness. In this state, stress hormones circulate more frequently, increasing inflammation, tightening muscles, and diverting resources away from repair processes. When breathing becomes slow and deliberate, signals are sent to the brain that promote relaxation. The nervous system shifts from stress dominance to a state that supports healing, digestion, and cellular restoration. The diaphragm, the primary muscle of breathing, plays an important mechanical role in supporting circulation and lymphatic flow. With each deep inhalation and exhalation, the diaphragm moves rhythmically, gently massaging internal organs and encouraging the movement of fluids through the body. This action assists in the removal of waste products and supports the function of detoxification systems that are essential for maintaining youthful tissue function. Consistent practice of deep breathing also enhances mental clarity. As oxygen delivery to the brain improves, cognitive function becomes sharper, and mental fatigue decreases. A calm, well-oxygenated brain coordinates bodily functions more effectively, ensuring that repair and maintenance processes occur with greater efficiency. By restoring awareness to the way we breathe and adopting slower, fuller breaths throughout the day, the body receives the oxygen relaxation signals, an internal movement it needs to sustain energy production and tissue renewal, gradually shifting from a pattern of tension and depletion toward one of balance and quiet. Regeneration movement is often associated with strenuous exercise, yet the body responds most consistently to frequent, gentle, functional activity that mirrors the way it was designed to operate throughout the day. When muscles contract and relax in natural patterns, such as walking, bending, reaching, and squatting, they do far more than generate motion. They create internal mechanical forces that support circulation, maintain joint nourishment, and assist in the removal of metabolic waste from tissues. Each muscle contraction acts like a secondary pump for the vascular and lymphatic systems. Blood is encouraged to return efficiently to the heart, and lymphatic fluid is pushed through channels that have no central pumping organ of their own. This steady movement of fluids ensures that nutrients are delivered to tissues and waste products are cleared before they accumulate. Without regular movement, these systems become sluggish, allowing congestion to develop at a microscopic level that gradually affects overall vitality. Joints, in particular, rely on movement for their health. Unlike many tissues, joint cartilage does not have a direct blood supply. It receives nourishment through the movement of synovial fluid, which circulates only when the joint is in motion. Gentle bending and stretching distribute this fluid across joint surfaces, providing lubrication and nutrients while removing waste. When joints remain still for extended periods, this exchange slows, leading to stiffness, discomfort, and reduced flexibility, often attributed to aging rather than inactivity. Movement also preserves muscle tone and posture, both of which influence how the body ages. Strong, responsive muscles support the spine and joints, reducing unnecessary strain and maintaining efficient alignment. Good posture allows for optimal breathing, circulation, and nerve function, all of which contribute to a sense of energy and ease. In contrast, tamed sitting and limited activity encourage muscular shortening and weakness that place stress on the body's framework. The rhythmic nature of gentle activity has a calming effect on the nervous system. Walking, stretching, and simple household tasks performed with awareness reduce stress hormone levels and promote a relaxed physiological state. This calm, internal environment favors digestion, repair, and immune balance, allowing the body to direct more resources toward maintenance rather than constant stress management. Regular movement also influences metabolic health. As muscles engage, they use glucose and fatty acids for energy, helping to stabilize blood sugar levels and reduce the inflammatory effects associated with metabolic imbalance. This contributes to healthier tissues and a more stable internal environment that supports long-term resilience. By integrating simple, consistent movement into daily routines, the body maintains fluid circulation, joint nourishment, muscular support, and metabolic balance, creating conditions in which tissues remain flexible, well-supplied, and capable of renewing themselves with greater efficiency over time. Sleep is the only period in the day when the body fully shifts its priority from interaction with the external world to deep internal restoration. During waking hours, energy is directed toward movement, decision-making, digestion, and responding to countless sensory inputs. When sleep begins, these demands recede, and the body activates complex repair programs that cannot occur with the same efficiency at any other time. This transition is not passive rest, but an active biological state in which regeneration becomes the central focus. As the body enters deeper stages of sleep, hormones responsible for tissue repair and growth are released in carefully timed cycles. These hormones stimulate the rebuilding of muscles, the restoration of connective tissues, and the renewal of cells that have been damaged through daily wear. Skin cells divide more rapidly, collagen production is supported, and microscopic injuries accumulated throughout the day begin to heal. This is why consistent, high-quality sleep is often reflected in skin clarity, muscle tone, and overall vitality. Sleep also plays a critical role in regulating the immune system. During this period, immune cells become more efficient at identifying and removing pathogens and damaged cells. Inadequate sleep weakens this surveillance process, allowing low-grade inflammation to persist and recovery from minor stresses too slow. Over time, this contributes to the gradual decline in resilience, often mistaken for inevitable aging. The brain undergoes its own form of cleansing during sleep. A specialized system increases the flow of fluid through brain tissue, helping to remove metabolic waste products that accumulate during the day. This process supports cognitive clarity, memory consolidation, and emotional balance. When sleep is shortened or fragmented, these waste products are not cleared effectively, leading to mental fog, irritability, and reduced concentration that affect overall well-being. Hormonal balance is closely tied to sleep quality. Hormones that regulate appetite, stress, and metabolism rely on consistent sleep cycles to remain stable. When sleep is irregular, stress hormones remain elevated, encouraging inflammation and disrupting the body's ability to repair itself efficiently. This hormonal imbalance can accelerate visible and invisible signs of aging by keeping the body in a state of subtle tension, rather than restorative calm. The cardiovascular system also benefits from sleep, as heart rate and blood pressure naturally decrease, giving blood vessels time to relax and recover from daytime demands. This nightly relief supports long-term vascular health and efficient circulation. It's both essential for maintaining youthful tissue function. By prioritizing deep, uninterrupted sleep each night, the body is given the time and conditions it needs to repair tissues, regulate immune and hormonal systems, cleanse the brain, and restore balance throughout its networks, allowing regeneration to occur in a way that sustains energy, clarity, and resilience across the years.